All right, team, welcome back. Today's episode is brought to us by Liquid IV, America's number one leading hydration supplement. Whether we're looking for some electrolytes post workout, an immune support, a sleep aid, and we also have a sugar free option, it's all there with Liquid IV. We can save ourselves 20% off at checkout using code NOMADIC. That's Liquid IV. Save yourself 20% off using code NOMADIC. Today's episode is also brought to us by Laird Superfood. They've got it covered from supplements to coffee to snacks. Everything comes from the ground. It's plant based, focusing on nourishing our body from the inside out. That's Laird Superfood, Laird Superfood. We can save ourselves 15% off using code NOMADIC. That's Laird Superfood, 15% off using code NOMADIC. Now, let's get back to the chat. Go, boss. All right, Chief. Thank you so much for your time. It's early for you.
Well, yeah, not really. No, I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning.
Oh,
I have this routine where I like to have my time. So whether it's journaling, meditating, setting an intention, whatever I feel like doing in the morning, that's my morning routine. And then I get started. So 7 o'clock, I'm well and truly started.
I love that. Like that's the way I structure my days. People
Yeah.
usually say, "What do you do?" I was like, "Well, 4:30 to 7:30 a.m. p.m." And you're like, "How?" And I was like, "Well, to be honest, you guys don't want me in the morning, so that's my time. You know,
Yeah.
I can do my own thing. Like the world is kind of asleep
I
when you
like
start.
that. You don't want me. I love that. That's so true. So don't people don't want me at that time of morning. It's from the other side of the world, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. That's why I've been transitioning more over to emails. If I'm honest with you, everyone's like, "Oh, what's your WhatsApp? We can stay in contact." I was like, "No, here's my email address. I'll get to it when I get to it." You don't have my phone number, and most of the time I leave my phone at home these days. Like I just walk outside. I'm like, "Fuck this!" Like I can't be contactable all the time. Like I'm gonna go rogue. I'm going in the bush. I'll get back to you when I can.
And how do you cope with that, Alex?
I love it. Only thing I need is this bad boy right here. A little bit of a journal, a pen, and that's it. A bit of coffee,
Yeah,
and that's me.
same. I'm the same. I do like my music though. I do love music. I
Mm,
have to me, music is like food to the soul, and I can't live without it. So that's the only thing. I mean, I put do not disturb anyway. So if I don't want to be called, I won't. But that's the only thing that hooks me onto what I call the crack phone.
the
It's a
crack
crack
phone.
phone.
Yeah, it fucking is. Eh?
Mm.
You can't get enough of it.
No, I actually went to Fiji for 7 days, and I decided to have no technology at all. And it took me, I reckon, a good 3 days before I just chilled out and go, okay, the world's not going to fall apart, and everyone's going to be okay without me. And it was just like letting go was the biggest piece. But when I came back, I was so not wanting to get back into it because it just, like I used to think, we never used to have this.
Mm.
There was so much freedom, and now we are contactable 24/7. Um, so it's a lot. Highly recommend that everyone should do it. Although it depends on what type of lifestyle you have as well. I'm not big on social media, so it's not about that. It's more so about work, business. It's all. So to cut off ties is rejuvenating. Is probably the best way to describe it.
Agreed. I think I can understand why people have burner phones now. Have a work phone and then have a personal phone. I want to get back to one of those old flip phones. You know what I mean? Like a Nokia brick or something. Like that's all I need. I barely even
Yeah,
need to text you. Like I'll ring you if you don't pick up. You're busy, no problem. If you ring me,
yeah,
I'm busy. Don't worry about it. We'll touch base when we can. Or fuck it, let's send a postcard or something like that. Just go outside and
yeah.
live life and breathe the air and see what's going on rather than like always looking down. And I've been guilty of it, mate. Like I'm not sitting here on a high horse or anything, but when you have a taste of what it's like without it,
Yeah.
yeah, it really does make me sit and ponder for a while. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And even just looking down, like you said, looking down, I go for regular walks. I live beautiful, it's called wetlands. It's beautiful, and the beach, but I go for walks as often as I can. And I can't tell you how many people I see walking with their head down on a phone, not even enjoying the nature around them and absorbing the beauty that is around them. And I just go, wow, it's like, look at what we are all missing out on. And you see it all the time. People just looking down all the time and forget to see what is around us anymore. And it's really sad to see. Really sad.
Why do you do what you do, mate?
Why do I do what I do? It's interesting. I was talking about this the other day, so it's easy for me to answer this question. I've always, since I was a little girl, so I was born in France, I've always wanted to help people. I was the one that shared my lunch with everyone. I was the one that helped take knots out of people's hair. I was the one that if somebody fell, I would, find a tissue or a Band-Aid to help. I always helped people. And I knew I was going to always help people, but I just didn't know how. And it took me years. Like my son and I were talking about it because he's just turned 29. And I said to him that, because we were just talking about life, he goes, I just want to find purpose. And I said, purpose comes to you. And sometimes it takes years. It takes years. And we search for purpose external of ourselves, but it's inside. And if you follow whatever that internal drive is, whatever that calling is, you'll find it, or you'll fall into it, or it will come to you. And I think I've been very lucky that I've had kind of all three. I have fallen into it. And definitely the stuff that I'm in now has definitely come to me, because I think it's about being in the present moment, knowing that you want to help people. That was all I knew. And just taking one step at a time and allowing yourself allowing you to guide you through the process, and not knowing where you're going to end up all the time. And I think sometimes we get so fixated on external that this is what I want. Well, maybe your higher calling doesn't want you there. Maybe your higher calling is to go right instead of left. And so we could get distracted, and sometimes we can veer off course and end up somewhere where we don't really want to be, and then come back to where we were going to be anyway. So I think there's a lot of, and I've learned this over the time, there's a lot of allowing to take place in the process. So really my calling was always to help people. I love helping people. I love seeing people thrive.
Do you think we have one purpose?
I think we have many. We have many. I mean, I have a purpose. I'm also, this kind of links in with personas as well. I have a purpose of being a mother and being a good mother of that. So that's purposeful and meaningful for me. I have a purpose in fulfilling this legacy I'm building and making sure that I've got the right people around me. That's purposeful and meaningful for me. I also have a purpose for myself, for my spiritual self, my growth, my evolution, my expansion. That's purposeful and meaningful for me. I don't think we have one purpose. I feel like we have a calling though. And I feel like there's always been, for me in my experience working with other people, there's always been one calling, a calling. And as I alluded to before, I also follow astrology and have done for a long time. And you can see in people's blueprint, you can kind of see what their calling is. So how it plays out, it's up to us. Like I said, my calling could be, I want to help people. Well, I could have become a nurse, could have become a doctor, could have become a dentist. So the driver, the calling's there. It's just how does it play out? I think that's different. That's up to us.
What are you trying to find?
What am I trying to find? I'm not trying to find anything, actually. We are what we seek. And I think it's about going within. So I've learned that over time. Like I said to you, life starts at 50. This is this wisdom, clarity that came through, is that the thing we seek is seeking us. And, the other thing that I also have been practicing for many years, but really perfected it in my 50s, was that I always say that your external environment is a representation of your internal environment. And here we get so caught up in the busyness of doing that we are on autopilot and we don't even realize what exactly is in our environment. And it's when we slow down, and I've only just learned this, when we slow down to actually be in the environment, because we are human beings, right? Be in the environment. Only then can we go, oh shit, this is what I need to change. I never go finding anything. I never go seeking anything, because we are all that we are seeking. It's just about tapping into it and activating that very thing within us, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. It's what I wholeheartedly believe. I think everybody needs to embark upon that journey going in ourselves. You read ancient books, you watch Hollywood, whatever it is, and draw things out of context. You're like, yeah, it's telling you the same thing. The story is the same thing. It's the hero embarking on a journey within. It's Luke in the cave, and he fights Darth Vader, and he figures out it's actually himself. It was like, yeah. Like, you hate what you think you are.
Yeah.
You know
100%.
it.
And like even like at the I also put together an academy, and we always are big on doing the deep work ourselves. So I always say you can't coach others until you've done the work yourself, because what you're doing then is you're projecting onto your client. And then, because I hear coaches go, oh my God, that was like I was coaching myself. Absolutely, you were, because you were projecting your shit onto them. Absolutely, they were holding the mirror up. Until you integrate that piece of you and make it mental, heal it, whatever it is, it's going to keep projecting into your environment. And yes, you are going to feel like you're coaching yourself. And so the big piece of work we do is journaling. And I love the fact that you journal, because only when you spend time with you in morning, night, whenever it is, that time, asking yourself questions, like it could be as simple as, I could be thinking of, that person doesn't like me. Well, as I'm journaling, I could be saying, well, was there evidence in that, Catherine? Well, there's no evidence. And then you can go down this rabbit hole, having a conversation to yourself. People think I'm mad when I talk about it, but that is where the gold is. That is where you find the light that sparks. This is what it's called insight. That's why we have an aha moment. They happen more often with yourself than with any other experience external of you.
How would you get somebody to have a conversation with themselves?
Journal.
Mm.
And the way it is, it could be as simple as, I always say, well, I don't know how to journal, because you're getting in the way. We all get in our own way, right? It could be as simple as, what does my higher self want to say today? I used to have a practice where I had different colored pens. So the pink pen was for my inner child. The blue pen was for my higher self. The black pen was for the conscious self, like my physical self. And so I used to start like, what color pen do you want to choose today, Catherine? And I'd pick that pen, and I'm like, oh, that's the voice that wants to come through. And then I would just allow that voice or the consciousness to come through onto paper. Now that's my way of doing it. Another way of doing, which I've helped others, it could be as simple as, be the observer of you today. That's it. And then during the end of the day, all you have to do is, what was my thoughts like? What was I thinking like? What was my feelings? What were my triggers today? What set me off today, and why? And so as you just even doing that little exercise, what was my thinking like? You could then go, well, where's the evidence in that? What was the trigger for you to think that way? Because the way that you thought obviously triggered off your emotions, and then this is how you behaved, and these are the results that you got. So you can see that just starting is the hardest part. People go, I don't know. Go and buy a nice journal, a beautiful journal, and a pen, and have it sitting there, and make it a ritual. Like, I like my candle. I like to, create my space. I've got my Palo Santo. I do all of that because that sets the environment for me. And I'm allowing myself the space to be with me.
I think I think that conversation with ourselves is vital. I think it's so necessary. Otherwise, we kind of fall victim to this character that we didn't want to play, and we don't really know who it is. We bury our heads deeper and deeper in the sand of what from an act of what intelligence, like what is it? We don't really see our shortcomings. Um, and I can empathize with people that don't want to do it because it's hard, right? It's not nice. It's not a pleasant experience. Like looking up after brushing your teeth and staring yourself in the mirror and not liking what you see. That's very difficult. But I also think it is a necessity. And I think I've been playing around the concept of like in my own head, a concept of a child and an adult, right? And I think categorizing it by time is not right. I think we should categorize it by experiences, and sometimes that is at the forefront of somebody's life, and sometimes that takes them till they're 70. Hopefully it doesn't, but you meet a lot of quote unquote adults that are just kids that are fucking dickheads, right? I meet a lot of them and have to try and coach them every day. But anyway, it is what it is. And I'm like, no. You have to go through this void. You have to seek out the void within yourself, because the questions you seek is in that abyss. And if you can't see anything, you're not stared in it long enough, and you've not got sick of what you've seen. And I can't quite put my finger on it. I don't know. I'm blonde, right? Blonde, working class. I don't fucking know. I don't know the answers. The only thing I know is I know nothing. But I think you have to go through it because it's already within you. It is within you. It's within you that where all the answers lie. And people and experiences just help pull that out. And some people have those experiences at 50, like we said before, and some people have those experiences at 12. Ideally it's not at 12. Like we can both say
Although there are some, especially these times,
yeah.
there's some extraordinary children, I like the fact that you say you know nothing. That is refreshing, because there's so many individuals out there that think they know everything, right? And that itself is an obstacle. When you know nothing, you're then ready to explore. You have a curious mindset where this may take you. And going to the void, if you have a look at, and I've never done this, by the way, but if you go hunting for diamonds, right, you need to go through the mud. You need to go through the mud to dig them out, to find them. And that's the shadow work. The shadow work is you need to go in the dark to find the light. We are multifaceted individuals. There's many aspects of us, but we are not tapping into those aspects because we've been conditioned by, for example, and this is, we all go through this in development years, from the time we are born right up to the age of 7. This is our imprinting phase. So anything that took place in our life at that time, we downloaded that as our reality. That was our map of our world, whether it was parenting, programming, sibling, your culture, where you were brought up, what you did at school. That sits in that deeper part of our unconscious mind. That's muddy part, that dark part. Some of our trauma, small or big, all resides within there. And then as we evolve, which is that next level of modeling, which is between 7 and 14, as we evolve, we start coming out of the mud, right? Just a little bit, but we're looking at going, well, who am I? What is my identity? And this is where we start copying, and that's why it's called modeling other people. Oh, I want to be like him, or I want to be like her. And so you aspire to be like somebody else. So we are almost conditioned to be wanting to be somebody else. So then it could be our friends, because connection, belonging is so powerful that if we saw our friends, they had a certain haircut and a certain brand of jeans and shoes, we're going to do that to fit in. So as we start coming out of the mud even more so this is, so we've gone through the imprinting, which is the mud, and then you've got the modeling. Then at the top of it is from 14 to 21. These are rebellious years. It's called socialization or socializing. And this is, where do I fit in society? Once again, we're always going outside of ourselves, going, where do I fit? And it could be religion, it could be culture, it could be social media, it could be anything, right? But what we're doing is we're moving away from the mud. We're moving away from our nest, from the diamond that's within us. We're moving away. So we've been conditioned to look outside of ourselves anyway, from a very young age. I mean, if you have a look at a baby, the child, when they're first a baby, they have no fear. No fear. This has all been imposed. And so, it's like we live in fear most of the time. So then we're always in fight or flight all the time. So we need to go back to the mud. We need to go back in there and find the diamond, because within that, that's where you'll find all your answers. That's why you don't find external, but you go within, you seek inside.
How do you do that?
Well, I do that through journaling.
Yeah.
And I do that through meditation. So I've been meditating for 35 years. And I know when there's this sensation that I have, Alex, it's like the best way to describe it is bliss. I feel unconditional love. It's better than any drug you can possibly imagine. And that's from practice. We're very much of the mind. We're very much of the thinking consciousness, and we think all the time. We analyze, over process. Look, I'm the biggest over analyzing person, overthinking person you can possibly imagine. The moment we drop out of our head into our heart, and that's a practice I'm still practicing now, Alex. I haven't professed it, so I'm not going to say I am the guru at dropping into my heart. Absolutely not. But it is a practice. And the way that I've sometimes when I feel frazzled, I'm like, where are you, Catherine? I'm like in my head out there. And then I'll go, okay, drop into your heart. And I might just place my hand like this and drop into my heart. And everything goes quiet. And then I feel centered. And then I'm in the present moment, in the being that I am. And then everything is different. I even practice doing this with listening. I listen with my heart. Because I share this story, I can sometimes look like I'm present and I'm nodding my head, and you'll think I'm listening to you, but really my mind is like, tonight I'm going to make spaghetti bolognese. Oh, what's in the cupboard? Do I have enough ingredients? Oh shit, no, I've got to go to the shops and get da-da-da-da. So I'm having my own internal dialogue while I'm having this conversation. We all do it.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of it. That's what I mean. Like, we're all in the mind. Yet if we drop into the heart and listen with the heart, empathetic listening, it's so different, because you're actually being present and you're hearing what the other person is saying. So that's how I do it, really. That's a really long answer to your short question, is meditation. Go within. And that it could be the heart practice, meditation, breath work, making sure, because I'm very shallow in my breathing, so I make sure that go right into my belly, like I do 4 breaths and then 8 long ones out, as a way to, like, I'm here, I've arrived.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful. I think a lot of the time we listen to respond rather than to understand, and then to go further, to take your point and go further. Like we don't feel the emotion that the other person is trying to emit, trying to show you. People don't tell you what they want; they show you. And I think even further of, look in someone's eyes. It tells you everything that you need to know. Like, ignore the words and the vibrations coming out of their mouth, because most of the time it's bullshit anyway, right? And just look into someone's eyes, and you know what to do. As a human being, you should know what to do, because we are a nurturing species. We want to help each other at the end of the day. Drop your guard, look into someone's eyes, and be like, "Oh, okay, cool. You don't need that from me today. You literally just need a helping hand, or you need someone to kick you in the ass today." And be like, "No, this needs to be done." You're like, "Cool," but their eyes tell you that, man. I think
They
it's
say
a
window to the soul, right? The eyes.
100%.
Yep.
I think it's a gateway. Like we don't look at each other in the eyes anymore, do we? Even down the
No.
street, we don't look at each other and give a little head nod, just as a little sign of respect. It's not there. We used to do that
Yeah,
back
do you know?
home. Oh, I'm going
Sorry,
to
I
give you a
interrupted
head
you. Go
nod.
on.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a head nod and acknowledge your existence. So hopefully you don't turn around and fucking knife me in the back. So it's like, I'll give you a bit of respect, you give me a bit of respect, and we carry on in our way. And now that's not even the case anymore. It's like non-verbal respect. We've dropped that. It's like, what are we? Can we only respect each other via digits on a screen? I was like, then what's the difference between us and immortal beings that just these digital things? I don't know. I think we
Yeah.
can't lose those soft skills, man. I think that's what makes us unique.
I know. And you know, you just saying that, look, I do that. I'll look at people in their face and smile at them. And even when we had to wear those masks,
Yeah.
which I didn't like, purely because I had cold sores every time I wore them, which I don't get cold sores. But I used to still smile at people, and they could see it in your eyes, even if your mouth is covered.
100%.
And even like smiling at people, they look shocked or surprised that you're actually looking at them and smiling at them. And it's like, and I go, oh, bless, you haven't been seen today. When I see someone smart doing that whole, oh my God, you're smiling at me, or they even sometimes look around, I just bless, because everybody wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to be valued.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, we seek external of ourselves, even for that. We seek external for validation. We seek external for that, to know that we are enough. We are enough. If you go within, you'll know you are enough. And, you know, like I see so many individuals looking external for business, relationship, whatever that may be. And you're just distancing yourself even more so from yourself. Yeah. But when you love yourself, and look, I can only just say that just recently, Alex, I went and did a 7-day fast, and I came back, which nearly killed me, came back to say, for the first time in my life, I love you and I've got your back. I've never been able to say that. And it's taken me this long to say it. So I can say it with congruence now, because it was so hard for me to say it, because just being with me and nothing else, just me on this island and middle of nowhere and by myself, fasting, going through the dark night of the soul within the space of 3 days, well, 7 days, but 3 days were the worst days. I found me. And when you do, you come back, everyone goes, my God, what have you done? You look different. Because my vibrational frequency is different. Because I now know that I'm going to attract what I want into my life, because I am of that vibration. That's what we need to do. We need to become the very thing we are seeking. That's why we don't go looking for it. Yeah.
Sort of the reason why this thing's called nomadic. I think the trip's within.
I love it.
You know, and you mentioned about meditating and journaling. I fuck off. I delete everything from my phone. Usually it spends 23 hours a day turned off. I either drive, walk, or bike. It doesn't matter. I go in one direction and I just fuck off into the nature. And it's like, no. Mother Nature will tell me what I need to know, you know. And like, I kind of coined the term years ago, before mental health was kind of in its forefront in media, right? I coined a term for me. I was like, oh, I just need to go get ill. I was like, I don't mean to give myself a cold. I need to like go get sick of my own company. And like, I fucking despise the habits that I've fallen into or whatever, right? And you just really have a battle with yourself. And it sounds really fucked up, right? But it's like, you're going to come back a much lighter. You're going to come back a different person. And that's the point. You know, we can't just keep burying ourselves into a deeper and deeper hole. You know, that's not the point. The point is to change and evolve. You know, the only constant in life is, in fact, change. And sometimes we have to cause that by ourselves and just, oh, fuck, I hate who you've become. It's like, that's a strong word. I was like, yeah, it's a strong emotion. Right, let's have it out with you. You know, whether you do it with a pen, whether you do it by screaming, whether you do it through physical exercise, you know, or whether you do it by literally just sitting on an island fasting for 7 days. You know, it's like, no, I'm at a crossroads. I could either go left or right. I've always chosen left. And guess what? If I keep choosing left, I'm going to go round and round in circles. Maybe we need to change the direction. And you have to kind of force yourself there. You know, it is necessary. Otherwise, I would make the argument of you're stagnant. And what is stagnant? What else is stagnant? Death. Cool. So you're already dead. What's the point in you breathing? You know, if you have to, if you want to keep on living, like, you've got to change.
Yeah. And you know, I love the fact there's a couple of things that you said that I want to unpack a little bit more. If we understand the brain resists change, we can work with it. So
Yep.
most people don't even realize that. No, nobody likes change, right? We like to feel comfort. Well, not everybody, I should say, because I actually like variety is one of the things that drives me. But the majority, our brain likes comfort. Our brain likes to be in a place where the brain feels safe. So change can create uncertainty for the brain, and the brain will resist it. So if we know that the brain resists it, then we can work with it, knowing there's going to be a level of resistance. So that's one. And then the other thing is, well, you said that the nature will give you the answers you need. It does. When I go for a walk and I've got a problem, I look for nature to give me the answer. I actually will go for a walk and know that I'll come back with the answer or the solution to the problem, because I went for a walk and nature gave me the answer. And it could be as simple as looking at a tree, and I'm looking at, and the tree might say, stand firm, Catherine, on this decision. Stand your ground. You can be flexible a little bit up here, but stand your ground. So I love the fact that you use that. Absolutely. Go to nature to find your answers. Go to nature to find your solution. Or like you said, if you're having a bad day with yourself and you say, I hate myself for whatever reason, go and ground yourself. Release that energy in nature and find the beauty within to help you shift that emotion you're going through. I mean, you need to feel it, right? It's not about pushing it down. You need to allow it to go through. Otherwise, it will get stored in your body, as you probably know that, Alex.
Yeah, otherwise you end up in the position where most blokes are, ignorant assholes that are nothing but large boys and don't feel their emotion and end up, not being able to communicate it or fuck themselves over, drink, drugs, gambling, whatever, or the noose.
I have to share this story. There's a gentleman that and I won't name him, but we've got a student at the academy who when started. So we do in the academy, it's called our foundation is a positive psychology coaching program. And when he first started, he's like, I don't do emotions. Sorry, I don't do emotions. To the point where now he's like, I want to tell people about the importance of emotions, because, obviously he's went through his own, I guess his own dark night of the soul through the program. And this is one person I thought would never, ever shift the way that he thought, but he was so adamant, and it's such a strong conditioning, because it depends on how you're brought up. Culture.
Yeah.
I remember my son said, I shouldn't cry because I'm a man. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who told you that? So we have been conditioned, especially men have been conditioned, that you cannot be in touch with your emotions. You cannot cry. You cannot express yourself. You can't tell someone you love them. You can't tell them that you need to be seen or heard or want to be touched. They just shut down, and they'll go find it somewhere else because they can't have that conversation with a partner.
It was Ernest Hemingway who said, life breaks us all, and those who do not break, it kills.
Yeah, I like that.
I think you have to break.
Yes.
Mate,
I do.
Thank you so much. This has been a fucking privilege, mate.
Oh my God, is it finished already? Oh, wow, it's been amazing. That's gone so quick.
Yeah, I know it's going to kick me out, but I just want to say thank you so much.
No, thank you. I've enjoyed this. It was so quick. It felt like 10 minutes.
We can talk whenever you like, mate. You are more than welcome back.